take you back briefly to Parliament now, where the NPA head, Advocate Shamila Batohi, has been testifying. And Newzroom Afrika's Zoleka Qodashe following the proceedings for us. Zoleka, good evening to you. What stood out for you throughout the day's testimony? What is it that really you can't shake out of your mind right now as the members enjoy some reprieve, at least for the short time that they are having some dinner?
Good evening, Claude, and good evening to our viewers. Well, there are several matters that I think stood out for me, particularly in relation to the questions that were posed by MPs regarding the Palapala report. You'll remember that it was in October of last year, 2024, when the DPP in Limpopo decided not to prosecute in that matter, saying that there were no reasonable prospects of success for prosecution or conviction in that matter. And we'll later on just divulge that a little bit more. But we're finally being put in the context of the head of intelligence, crime intelligence, Dumisani Khumalo, and the arrest that was effected against him in June of this year. You'll remember that he was arrested at the OR Tambo International Airport in what the IDAC head, Advocate Andrea Johnson, said was an attempt really to just secure his presence in court. And so that is where we are at the moment. But I think another interesting thing that has been posed to the head of the NPA is in relation to the oversight. You'll remember that when Advocate Andrea Johnson testified before the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee last week, she said that essentially the president had only appointed a judge, Takalani Raulinga, in October this year. That's just last month. This is despite the fact that the NPA, or rather IDAC, has been a structure within the NPA since 2019 following those allegations of corruption from the Zondo Commission of Inquiry, as well as then becoming a permanent structure or permanent unit within the NPA in August of last year. That's 2024. And so the members of parliament have taken issue with this in particular, particularly in relation to what they deem to be an HR matter or a labor-related matter in the arrest of the head of crime intelligence as well as the project leader of the PKTT. Let's just take a listen to what some members of parliament had to say and the interaction that they've had in relation to that arrest of Khumalo in August and or rather in June this year, as well as the response by Advocate Shamila Batohi.
Khumalo was arrested by IDAC for an HR matter. Have you ever done a supervision of that case?
So I explained earlier that with regard to these matters, the national director does not get involved in excuse me, in the detail of a case.
So you have never supervised, even after it was broadcast?
No, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to...
Or you're not done?
I'm not yet done.
Oh, okay,
my apologies.
Okay. Yeah.
You are breathing heavily.
I need a minute and I'm sure I'll be fine.
Of the witness.
It normally works with the lozenge. So,
okay, no, okay, we can take a break, Chair.
I think I'm fine, Chair. I can continue now. Thank you. In that matter, as I explained, well, in all matters, particularly, well, let's deal with IDAC matters, because it relates to an IDAC matter. I get very, very high-level reports, and verbally, because of leakage of information, the ID gives me very high-level reports, verbally, generally. In this particular case, she informed me about the impending arrest of the head of crime intelligence. I said to her, Andrea, are you sure this is a watertight case? Because arresting the head of crime intelligence is not something one takes lightly. There must be a watertight case, and she explained to me that it was part of a much bigger case strategy. This was one case that's part of a much bigger case strategy, and that the case was solid. But again, I urge, if anyone feels aggrieved by that decision, to bring a review process. And I assure the people of this country that I will look at any case, whether it's Palapala or this matter, objectively, and decide whether the correct decision was taken.
Now, Xoli, the reason why MPs, particularly the MK party's MP, Sibonelo Nomvalo, has taken issue with this particular stance is because there are provisions within the NPA Act, particularly Section 22, as well as Section 34, subsection 2 of the NPA Act, that allows the NDPP to receive reports from prosecutors and as well as DPPs in relation to the investigations that they are conducting in several matters. And so she has said that the law does not allow her, in terms of statute and in terms of constitutional provisions, to actually interfere or look into the investigations that are being conducted by prosecutors, the IDAC as well as DPPs. And so she says that in terms of Section 179, subsection 3D of the Constitution, she only has the power to review after an applicant or a person has brought an application to her to review a decision to prosecute or not to prosecute. So in the case of Khumalo as well, if he is aggrieved by this decision, or if any other party is aggrieved by the decision to arrest Khumalo or to have those charges against him instituted, then they can institute, or rather file a review with her office in that regard. And so that is some of the backlash that she's faced in relation to that. But let's just listen to what Sibonelo Nomvalo said in relation to the powers of the NDPP.
I made a plea, and I even said to you, even if I meet you in town, in the toilet, everywhere, I will request you to resign, because in my understanding, you are not fit for this position. Now, Section 34 of the NPA says, the NDPP may direct a DPP to submit a report to him regarding a specific activity relating to his or her powers, duties, and functions. That is the first section that gives you huge powers to run the institution holistically. Section 22 says, the NDPP may direct a DPP to submit a report in respect of any case, matter, prosecution. Now, when it says prosecution, it gives you a responsibility to summon a report, even if the prosecution is still underway, to say, NDPP, come to my office or give me a report about this matter and advise or overturn, as you said that you can overturn the decision of the NDPP. But in many instances, you refer a responsibility to the DPP and says, no, it falls in his competency and you have no statutory responsibility.
Now, Xoli, that's not the only issue that MPs have taken issue with. You'll remember that there were sentiments by lawmakers that essentially they were having an instance in which the NDPP was not divulging any information, also saying that essentially she does not know a lot of things, because in response to the questions that have been posed to her, she has said that she was not aware of the certain instances in which the MPs have asked specific questions. In fact, the EFF's Leanne Madeis said that it was an instance in which it was like having the suspended Deputy National Police Commissioner for Crime Detection, Shadrack Sibiya, all over again, because he had similar statements or similar submissions before the ADA committee. And this is particularly in relation to the Palapala investigation. You'll remember that the DPP in the province of Limpopo had decided not to prosecute, and that was last year. saying that there were no reasonable prospects of success in that matter. And so the DA, there was a statement shortly after saying that they would file a review application with the NDPP in that regard. And so there was a review application before the office of the NDPP. Despite this, she had an instance in which she said that she was not aware of such a process, and it took the EFF's Julius Malema to actually say that there was a review application that was currently before her office. Let's take a listen to those interactions before the ad hoc committee.
I beg your pardon?
Why have you not acted on Palapala?
Because there are processes to be followed in the legal process. The DPP takes a decision on the matter or not. And of course, anybody is entitled to ask that the National Director review this matter. That review process is not kicked in, but I'm trying to get clarity on whether Honourable Malema might be correct, whether the DPP in fact took a decision in this matter, and whether there is a review process in the SCCU head office. But I want to get clarity on that. But for now, to be clear through you, Chair, the matter is not on my desk. I have never considered this matter or the merits of this matter.
So the ethical leader in you doesn't say do something about Palapala. Anyway.
There are processes at the moment that are happening. The matter is at the head office.
The ethical leader in you.
That's correct. There are processes and the matter is at the SCCU in the head office. Thank you, Chair. Can I clarify? Yes, I've now got clarity on this. My notes were not clear. It is a review process. The matter is in the head office in the NPA. It's being dealt with by the Specialized Commercial Crimes Unit that processes the reviews, and that matter will be dealt with.
Now, Kholi, she's also given the assurance that there will be another extradition application that will be filed in the UAE before she leaves office, which we understand will be soon in January of 2026. For now, the MPs and lawmakers are still having dinner. We return for the resumption of proceedings at 7:20, Kholi.
Zoleka, Qodashe, wrapping up the day for us, and as you have heard, the day is not done yet at the ad hoc committee. The members are still having some downtime. After that, they will be back to continue the questioning of the head of the NPA. That time will be at around 7:20.